Oh boy. This one's probably not going to be as long as the previous two because I don't want to get into the details and that cuts out like 80% of the full story. But I gotta talk about my crazy ex-boyfriend. I have to. It's a requirement. We met in the 6th grade, and I was actually a pretty big bully back then, and I tried to bully him, but he just found the things that I was doing funny, and from that point, best friends. We were best friends up until, like, a few weeks before our sophomore year of high school, where I confessed that I had liked him basically the whole time, which is true. And he said that he did too. And we were together for nearly 2 years. We broke up literally 3 days before our 2nd anniversary. And we vowed to still be friends. And by the start of September, that was not the case anymore. So, I say by the start of September. Our anniversary was July 23rd. So, it literally took just a little over a month. So, what happened? Well, to start, he didn't love me to begin with. He lied, he felt bad, and he didn't want to say no. He developed feelings for me by around October. He fell out of love again, considering these feelings were basically just formed out of the fact that I loved him around March. So, already off to a great start, aren't we? He lied about loving me basically the entire time. So, what really happened? Well, the entire time, I constantly thought that I was just a prick, right? I thought that I was a giant prick, which I should have clocked sooner that it wasn't me and it was him, considering the fact that he was a very bad pathological liar, and really still is, just not to the extent that he was, like, whenever we first got together. And I was really trying hard to, help him not do that. So, basically, he would basically coerce me, manipulate me into getting mad or angry about random things, so that he could then, he would, put rules on me. So, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, always do this, never do that, that kind of thing. Then, when we broke up, it was just because, he said that he had fallen out of love. I didn't know at the time that he did that a year and a half prior. But, basically, at that point in my life, I was very, very, very alone. And he was just about the only person I had. So, I still talked to him all the time. And I know, 2 videos ago, I was talking about my best friend. But, at that point in time, we were, we didn't have a bad relationship. We just didn't really talk because of the situations. I don't remember the exact series of events, but, neither of us really had the, our schedules were opposite. We rarely were able to talk. So it was basically just him. And since, I needed a friend, he said he still wanted to be friends with me, we ended up talking a lot. And I would get really, really paranoid about certain things because, not paranoid. I have bad anxiety issues. It was really that. It was anxiety, not paranoia. But it was, I would get really anxious over certain things because he was acting off in a way that I couldn't quite describe. And basically, he had promised me he would do a few things to kind of help my paranoia. He would tell me if he's gonna go somewhere. I say paranoia still as if it's not anxiety. If I say paranoia, just know I mean anxiety. He was gonna tell me if he was gonna go somewhere so I wouldn't be alone. Like, I wouldn't just, like, spontaneously be alone and have no idea. He was gonna tell me if he was gonna do something that would, like, hinder his ability to be there. Like, I know this sounds, like, really weird, but, like, you have to understand, at this point in my life, not having anyone was really bad. Because there were a lot of things going on that I'll talk about, like, in the future. Where, like, there would be times where, like, I need someone to talk to. And, like, I did not, like, so he was doing these things to, like, basically ensure me I would know when, like, he wouldn't be there, so I would know to try to look for someone else so that, you know, it would be fine. Then he proceeded to not do those things, and I would try my best to get a hold of him in these really, really desperate situations, and since he didn't tell me anything, I would just feel ignored, and I would have a entire breakdown, because I needed someone to talk to very desperately at the point. And, of course, he didn't say that he wasn't going to be there, so I automatically assumed he was. And then, eventually, it got to a point where I don't remember exactly how it happened. I kind of blocked most of the situation out of my memory. But it's whenever I realized that he was lying. Like, it was whenever I realized that he had broken that promise. And I called him out on it. And then I got, like, really mad. I got so mad. And then he just decided that was the end of it. We were never going to speak again. Pretty weird. Pretty freaking strange, considering just the 2 days earlier, we were best friends again, as we were before the relationship. Yeah, I proceeded to talk through my best friend that I spoke about on the first entry, the second video on this channel. And we basically had a conversation through him because he refused to interact with me. Where he basically just cited a bunch of crap that happened years and years and years ago as reasons that he didn't want to be around me. And he said that he didn't give a single shit about any of my, like, that makes no sense points where I would say how that makes no sense. And then he proceeded to go out of his way to lie to every single person that we both knew about terrible shit that I had done that I never did, just to turn them against me. And it worked remarkably well. Because obviously, I was talking about he was a pathological liar, and how I didn't realize until, like, after this whole situation happened that he was manipulating me. He manipulated me into thinking it was abuse. He manipulated me into thinking that I was abusing him. That's how bad it was. I thought that I was an abuser. Whenever he said that he fell out of love, my first assumption was, it's because I'm an abuser. That's how bad it was. Like, and the whole time, he was just manipulating me into thinking that I was the problem, whenever he was literally provoking these reactions and these thoughts and these everything, so that he could place arbitrary rules on me so that I wouldn't question shady crap that he was doing, because he was lying to me about just about everything. Like, either way, point is, you can probably tell by that, he is very good at lying and manipulating, so naturally almost everyone believed him. My best friend and another mutual friend of ours that I'm not really friends with anymore, were the only two that really came to talk to me about it right after, and I was able to easily disprove crap with, like, screenshots of messages and just, like, pointing out logical errors and crap like that. But yeah, and slowly over time, most people have come to realize that he was lying, but some just kind of hate me now, and I've come to accept that. And yeah, of course, then I went back looking through all our messages, because in my mind I was thinking, where did I go wrong, where did I go wrong, where did I go wrong? And after seeing it from a not blinded by love point of view, it was like, wow, he was really just manipulating me the whole time, wasn't he? Like, wow, nothing that happened was my fault. He was just a dick from the very start. And I got information through his best friend at the time, who was also a friend of mine, who he lied to, who was one of the people that, like, a little bit later kind of realized he was lying. I got information later that, you know, he never really loved me. And his best friend, who was actually my friend, I introduced the two of them. That's the crazy part. But my best friend, or not, his best friend, kind of told me about this, and he didn't want to hurt me, and he didn't want, like, my ex to feel betrayed, so he just kind of kept his mouth shut. And then he was, like, apologizing over and over again, like he knew it was so wrong. But, like, I was just glad that I knew that I didn't do anything. I was just glad that I knew, like, with 100% certainty, okay, he's the crazy one. Like, there was no way that I was misinterpreting anything about this situation that made me think he was the crazy one. He was the crazy one. Yeah. The only other detail to share about this is that some friends of mine are still friends with him. Like, I really only have, like, 3 IRL friends, and 2 of them are friends with him. Because, like, we were whatever the word for 4 people is. Like, 3 people's a trio. I don't know the word for 4. I can't think of it right now. But we were, like, 4 people. And then, you know, we got together. And then, since he refused to talk to me, it became, like, 2 groups of 3 that shared the same Discord server. So, yeah. Yeah, that kind of hurts. Because, like, there's probably, like, 5 people that still actively talk to him. And it's like they know that he was lying the whole time. But, like, he's too, like, good of a friend for them to drop. Like, some people might think, those people are not real friends, those people are not real friends. I know these people. There were actually a good few more that refused to drop him that I dropped. The people that I didn't drop are because I know they don't mean it in any bad way. I know that they are genuinely true friends of mine, even if they're also genuinely true friends of him. People like to say that, like, if you're friends with 2 people that hate each other, then you're a terrible person. I don't see that as true. You can very easily be friends with 2 people that hate each other. Because if you weren't involved in the situation, like, if you weren't involved in the situation, then 9 times out of 10, I mean, why is that bad? If there's a clear bad person, like there was in this one, I can kind of see it. Because it's like, why are you actively being friends with a terrible person? But, like, at the same time, if I was in that situation and this person was, like, such a good friend to me, they've always loved me, they've always cared for me, they've always been there for me, I wouldn't want to drop them either. Maybe that makes me a bad person, I don't know. But, yeah, I can understand it for the people that, you know, are still great friends with them. Either way, that just kind of, it enters my mind every now and then. It's just like, ugh. It's like, ugh. But for the most part, it doesn't really affect me whatsoever at all. I've mostly moved past this situation in the, 7 or 8 months since it all went down. But, yeah, that's about it. Actually, I think it's closer to 9 months. I don't even know. Yeah, that's it. I thought this was going to be shorter than the previous few, but it's turned out to be about the same length. Okay, that's all. If you like listening to me yap and don't mind the stupid voice filter, subscribe. I like speaking. I like talking about my life. I like just saying things that are on my mind. I like putting my thoughts out there. And yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna end this at exactly 15 minutes. Watch.